Hey, here we go.
Here we go.
Giggles,
Another evening. Shits and giggles.
giggles. Remember, we're here for my therapeutic purposes, not for your entertainment. But if you so happen to be entertained by this, then it's a win-win for everyone. And to anyone I have not yet offended, please be patient. I will get to you shortly. Now, how are we doing?
No. This is a tag up. Now you
Okay,
go first. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. I feel, in terms of everything overall, I feel good. I feel good. Positive energy. I am at peace. I have Mother
You got
Nature's
your you
stuff
got
to
your
go through,
cheat
which
you got
is
your
looking
cheat
good.
going on.
Hmm?
You got your cheat going on. That's
Yeah.
what the what is it? I think isn't it in Chinese culture? It's the energy is chi or something of that nature.
Okay.
My
What does
memory
that
doesn't
mean?
fail me. Or Zen or chi. I can't remember which one
Zen.
is. Yeah,
Zen.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel at peace. I feel at peace. I feel
You should be
calm.
sitting with your legs crossed and your arms folded, looking like Dollar Slim from Street Fighter.
Right. No, I really feel good. I have good energy in my life right now. I am controlling the energy around me right now. So it's been good. And it was a good long weekend, spent some time with family. And it was the first time we got together other than a funeral since COVID. The last time we got together as a family was in 2019, outside
Okay.
of outside of funerals, and we've lost a lot of people during that time. So I want to shout out to my loved ones here and not here anymore. Right. And today's actually, it would have been my grandmother's 97th birthday.
Shout out to your grandmother, R.I.P. birthday.
Shout out to my grandmother, Doris. Actually, both my grandmothers have the same first name. Both my grandmothers are Doris. So this is my dad's mother,
Doris or Doris?
Doris. You know how it is. You
Doris.
know how it is. But yeah, today would have been her 97th birthday,
Yeah,
right? And also, I want to shout out my mother and Alton because today would have been their 25th wedding anniversary.
nice.
Shout out to them. Shout out to them. But overall, yeah, feeling good. So remember that when we get into shit. If my energy seems to change, it's only for the moment. It's only because I'm passionate about what I speak on. Keep that in mind.
Sounds like
That's
fun.
it. How are you doing?
You know what? I was cruising. Everything's going nice. Great time on the weekend. Spend time with family. Lots of eats. Fun and joyous times. And then I'm going to touch on something that's a little more personal. Without getting into a ton of details, because anybody that knows me knows I'm a private person, but this is more of a eye opener. Um, and I say this in the most sincerest way. As I said, I'm not a person that likes drama. However, I'm a person that's loyal, and you can ask anybody. My loyalty is far and above most people's loyalty, and I'll defend you, even if we're outnumbered 100 to 2. The way I look at it is, if I'm with you, at least you take 50, I'll take 50. We're gonna lose one way or another, but at least we'll lose together. So that's just to show you the type of mentality that I have. I'm not
I can
afraid.
vouch for you on that. I can vouch for you on that.
There you go. You
Definitely.
know,
You are one of the most loyal people I know. So I can vouch for you on that.
thank you. Much respect. With that being said, I had the unpleasant encounter over the weekend, and it's really kind of sad because you get to a stage in life where you feel people should just know better, right? And the sad thing about this is I'm calling this person out because unfortunately they're a public service worker. I'll mention that a little bit later. But just to give you an overview of what I had to deal with on the weekend, when you take someone on, male or female, whether you're in a relationship or you're married, and your significant other has children, you accept both. It's not a one off or a knockoff or a booty call for a couple of days and ditch the kid and, punk the kid whenever you feel like. It's not, that's not the case. So, ladies and gents, if you're dating someone, they have a child and you don't like their child, you probably shouldn't be dating them because it's a package deal. It's not,
Package deal.
hey, I like them sometimes, or maybe I can tolerate them. If you can't tolerate them, move on.
Hmm.
I
I
had the
agree.
unfortunate or the misfortune of having to deal with a scenario where my child is involved in a scenario where my ex's significant other doesn't want them around. So, being the type of dad that I am, I had to have the conversation. And as you can see, I'm not in jail. I'm free. Most people that know me know that I'm usually, I won't say a hothead, but I'm a guy that can get heated real fast, especially when it comes to my child. With that being said, I had a very, not enlightening conversation, but a conversation that just confirms a lot of things. And here's what I'm going to tell people. As a human being, you should never, ever talk to another human being and put them in a place to make them feel uncomfortable, especially when you guys are sharing a home. You should never be telling people, contrary to what you feel, how and when they should leave your house in terms of whether you're going to tell them to get the F out of your house because of your feelings or trivial things that you feel that you need to express yourself. There's a way how to go about things. And what I saw on the weekend definitely wasn't the way how to go about things. Yes, I see your
And
hand up.
especially when it's somebody's child, right? When it's your significant other's child, totally different. Like that takes it even a step further. Carry on.
With that being said, it just makes you look at a bigger picture and you say to yourself, ladies and gents, when you're dating and you have a child, and if your significant other isn't about it, please, please, please do not get into the union just because you're infatuated or you're in love with the person. If they don't love your child, they don't love you because your child is an extension of you. And I preach that I'll preach it until I'm old and gray. Your child is an extension of you. And this goes to ladies and females because I've seen men and women kind of ditch a child for the sake of a relationship, which I'm sitting there going, no, no, no. So this particular incident ended up with an argument, and words were exchanged, unpleasantries were exchanged, but at the end of the day, there's an understanding, and at least there's a conclusion to the fact that at least everybody on both sides know where everyone stands. Whereas before it was kind of in limbo. I waited 2 months to talk to this individual. 2 months of, hey, can we sit down and have a conversation? Hey, when are you free? Crickets, crickets, crickets,
Roger
crickets,
Dodger.
crickets,
Roger
crickets.
Dodger.
So being the type of man that I am, I went to this individual's home, stood at the bottom of their driveway and said, hey, let's have a conversation. So long, short end of the story is I realized that as much as this individual claimed to be a man, they ended up hiding behind their women, getting their women involved in order to completely finish their battles. So my thing is, if you're gonna claim to be this big man, Tarzan, swinging from trees and shit, beating your chest, at least have the balls to stand up and say things to my face. Don't run in your house. Don't run behind your woman. Don't sit there and pretend like, I'm from Scarborough. Blah. You're from Scarborough, but it doesn't mean anything. What is that supposed to mean? Somebody's supposed to be afraid of you because you're from Scarborough? Like, get the heck out of here. It doesn't matter where you're from. It matters about this. If you ain't got the heart, it doesn't mean nothing, right? So I say all this to say because the losing party in all this is an individual, a child that's now left in a position that doesn't feel like they have a home. Although they have a home with me and their grandparents, now they're left in a position of where they used to spend 100% of their time with this particular individual. Now they can't or they don't feel comfortable there because of actions that that particular person took. So if you're going to be a stepmother, a stepfather, be a stepmother, be a stepfather. Don't half step. Don't jump out or bail out when it doesn't fit your convenience, or because you started having kids with this individual, now this child is an outcast. Because I've seen that as well. Everything is cool until you start having children with this individual. Now the other child, because it's not yours, it's an issue. And keep in mind, if you're going to be that parent that's going to be nitpicky, there's always going to be a parent like me, and I will call you out. And believe me, I'm not afraid of anybody. I'm not the biggest, toughest dude at the end of the day. But with that being said, I've never been afraid and I've never shied down from anybody in my life. From I was in grade school right up until I'm a big man in my 40s, I've never shied away from anybody. Right? It's unfortunate. And these are the people you find idiots like this. These are the guys that drive buses. These are the guys that drive trains. It's unfortunate. These are the people that are carrying you on a day to day basis. These cowards, these nincompoops, these lower than life. I mean, they're scum of the earth. There's just no real words for me to use without I mean I don't know what else to say from here. It's disappointing. I hold everybody here until you start dropping yourself here. I didn't realize you can actually drop yourself to the ground because I haven't seen that too often until I talked to this individual on Sunday. So, you know what? If anybody knows this individual, whoever knows me and knows this individual, you can send them a big shout out and tell them they're the biggest piece of shit on the planet. And they need to stop hiding behind their woman because at the end of the day, it's not a good look,
It's not a good
right?
look.
It's not a good look.
Not a good
And
look.
number two,
Not a
you're not the only person with a house. I got a house too.
good.
I don't go around telling everybody to get the hell out of my house, you know? But it is what it is.
Bitch.
As I said, at the end of the day, I got love for everybody. So I'm not coming from a place of anger or a place of hate. This is more of a place of disappointment. Seeing that a man that's even older than me still doesn't understand the concept of life, basic necessities of life. Yeah, it's a little bit heavy today. I ain't giggling on this one. But you know what? At the end of the day, this is my truth. I just wanted to send a shout out since I was asked how I'm doing. Well, this is how I'm doing.
All good. It's all good. I will always give you space to speak, right? Because when you talk, you don't talk shit, right? So I will always give you that space to speak. And I respect you. And I'm happy that you got that off your chest and got your point across. And I want to speak on something that you said. You mentioned something about running behind your woman, right? This is a big problem with dating nowadays, right? And I want to shout out to the t-shirt that you're wearing right now, the Batman, because you were going on that rant. I'm looking at your t-shirt and I'm like Batman. Yeah. Shots fired all day. Shots fired. Right. Shout out to you for being diplomatic because I can say that I was a party to the situation and the way that you articulated it just now, yeah, that's the PG version of how it actually went down. So shout out to you for always being a man and being diplomatic, you know, and non-confrontational. You've always been a person that, you try to avoid conflict at all times, but if you come for me, right, I'll send you back. So shout out to you. Um, in terms of the whole, like this is a part of the problem that I find as a single woman who is a very independent woman and strong-willed, strong-minded. A lot of these men like to beat their chest alpha, right? Alpha isn't like, I'm gonna go fight somebody for you, I'm gonna pick up shit for you, that's not alpha, right? An alpha male will always put his intelligence over his emotions,
Correct.
right? A true alpha male will put his intelligence before his emotions, and he will lead by example, not by control. Control is a totally different thing. That's not alpha. To me, that's insecurity, especially as an alpha female, right? If a man's trying to control a woman, that's insecurity,
Correct.
right? You can't be beating your chest, blah, 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 blah. And then when shit goes down, you're running behind your woman. And then that's when you want to talk. Somebody comes to, especially to your home, right? You're the man of the house. That's your home to defend, right? Regardless of the situation, even if you're wrong, that is still your home to defend because you've got a whole bunch of people in there depending on you while you're beating your motherfucking chest, right? So when you decide that, right, the person that comes to confront you on some bullshit that you did, let's keep it real, on some bullshit that you did, right? And you want to, and then when the heat gets too hot for you and you can't handle it, right? And it's all it is intelligence. You're getting beaten by intelligence and you can't handle it because your ego is way too big to comprehend what's really going down in front of you. So when you can't handle it now, you run behind your woman. Now she has to man up and defend the entire household, right? That's the kind of shit that gets me pissed off. I'm an alpha female, right? And the woman in question is not even as she's not alpha. Let's keep it real. She's not alpha, right? Like me. She is actually a naturally submissive woman, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just who she is, right? But even for me as an alpha female, I don't want to be defending the household. Don't be running behind me because you see, as soon as this situation plays out and it's done and that door closes, who do you think you have to deal with? You think it's over when the door closes? Because we have a problem now. When you put me in a position where I have to defend the household and you're supposed to be the man of the house and you're out there beating your chest alpha, 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 you want to control me, you want to control the whole situation. But then when shit really gets real, you run behind me to defend the shit. That's going to piss me off. That is going to piss me off. And you're going to get it even worse from me than the person you had to deal with on the property. And you're lucky if I stay with you after that shit. You're lucky if I stay with you after that shit, because at that point, I don't know how much respect I'm going to have for you.
And for the record,
just for the simple fact that you ran behind me to defend.
And we're not advocating violence. So that's not what we're saying. So when we're saying running away from it just means all it is, this individual took himself away from the scenario because he no longer couldn't handle the conversation. The F-bombs and everything starts flying. So we're not talking about violence. So I just want to be very clear. No, it's not a violent confrontation. This was all verbal. There was no
all verbal.
Not even as much as let me, knuckling up. None of that. It was all verbal.
No, it was articulate. It was intelligence versus ego. That's what it was. It was intelligence and intellect versus ego. Right? Some people can't stand up to the intelligence and the intellect. Tail goes between the legs and you got to run behind your woman. I'm not that chick. You could never get away with that shit with me, because I'm going to tell you about yourself when you're done. And you're going to feel even smaller than you did at the bottom of that driveway when intelligence was talking to you. And that's all I have to say about that shit for now. For now. Because I could go further. We could go further, but we'll save that for another time because we know this isn't over. Anyways, that's what I had to say as an alpha female. I do not want to be protecting a man. I don't want to be put in the position where I have to protect a man. Right? I want peace. I want.
Sure? I don't know,
yes.
man. Sometimes I feel like you want the strap on and you want to be like, you want to be out there.
No, because it's not even that. No, it's not that. No. Why would you even say that? Why? No, because you're taking. People might take that the wrong way. People might take that the wrong way.
I know. Listen,
you know what I mean?
Hey, I'm just messing with you, man. At the end of the day, I'm just.
No, but I'll listen. I'll say this. I came across a quote earlier this week, right?
Yeah.
Because I am who I am, and right? If a man leads properly, a woman will submit naturally.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
That's all it boils down to. You can't be coming around me beating your chest pretending that you're alpha, because that's not going to work with me, because I am an independent alpha female. However, I know how to be soft and strong at the same time. And if I trust the man, I can submit. If I don't trust you, we have a problem and it's not going to work. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
I'm not going to let you
It
lead me
totally
down a
makes sense.
path of
Well,
destruction.
listen, at the end of the day, in a relationship, it's a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
And I people have this ideology, everything's gonna sit down the middle, equal. Bullshit. We all have different
Sure.
strengths. So I'm gonna say something that might be a little controversial, but it's the truth. We are not all created equal. And I'm gonna say that in the sense that some people are taller, some people are smaller, some people are smarter, some people are dumb. Let's call a spade for what it is. My thing now is we should respect everybody equally. That's all. That should be paramount. Respect
Yeah.
should be give everybody their due respect and go from there. Because I know when people say, "Well, we are all created equally." Yeah, no, you can march on with your little parade and keep going. That's why there's athletes. That's why there's athletes that are making millions of dollars because they're the best of the best. They're not like average people. They're above average. That's why there's Usain Bolt. He has the world record in 100 meters. He's above average. He's far beyond above average. So you can't say he's equal to everybody else in running because no, he's the fastest man in the world. That's not
Yep.
equal. So
Yep.
when I say that, I'm not saying that in terms of rights, because I know that's the first thing people. Oh, we all, yes, we all should have the same rights. With that being said, we're not all created equal in that regard.
That's true.
Some people
Yep.
have different strengths, and that's why I said in a relationship, we all bring our strengths together and we utilize that. Some people may be a strong speaker. The other person may be a good cook, whatever, cleaning, whatever you want to do. Doesn't matter, male or female. But you bring those strengths together and you become one. That should be how the relationship is, right? So
Yes.
as you were saying,
Yep.
even with the alpha, you know what? And I'm not going to get into this whole gender thing because I don't want to get into that argument. Generally, males have always been traditionally the head of their homes, right? Whether I'm not going to debate that or argue that. And if you're in a relationship where your woman wants you to be the man of the home, be the man of the home. Don't puss out, right? You've got a pair of nuts and you got a dick. There's a reason why you got that. You were given that right to stand there and be a man. And if you don't want that right and you want your woman to hold your balls, then let your woman hold your balls and you step to the back. But don't be surprised when she's punking you and slapping you around, and maybe she's got a side dude because she needs somebody else to bully her, as whatever the circumstances, right? That's what it
I'm
is.
glad you're saying it and
It
not
is what it
me,
is.
because if
It is
I
what it
say
is.
it, if I say it, I'm going to look bad, right? I'm glad it's you and not me, because hey, I agree with you 150%. I
Listen,
agree with you 100. The thing is, I'm just not gonna. I will never be that woman that's gonna hold your motherfucking balls for you, right? Once I realize you're handing your balls to me, I can't be with you. I can't be with you because I might as well be by myself. If I gotta defend myself, if I gotta do everything on my own, which is, pretty much, anyways, I might as well be by myself, which is why I spent a good time single. Is why I spend a good amount of my time single, because I cannot deal with the amount of estrogen in these men versus my testosterone, right?
you know
And
what?
my testosterone ain't that high. I still look feminine. Hey, right? I still look like a woman,
You know
but
what?
I,
You're not.
I think I do
Listen.
have more testosterone than the average female.
No, you
And
don't. Because if you did, you'd have hair on. You'd start growing hair on your face and shit. You'd have sideburns that go down to your ass. So let's not even go there. All it is, your temperament and your fire
my
that's in
dad,
you
my
is
father,
is,
my
is
father,
stronger. Is
my
stronger.
father, my father.
Or you know what your alternative for guys like that? Remember I sent you a picture yesterday of a man that had a whole family with dolls, right?
Oh God.
He he was so, I guess, desperate to have a family. He created dolls. He created a wife and two kids. And I swear to you, the kid looked like
The kids
Chucky,
look like Chucky.
red eyes
The
and
kids
shit.
look
And I,
like
I sat
Chucky.
there looking at this. I'm like, what the? I'm like,
The
you
kids
really,
look like Chucky, and the wife looks like Marilyn Manson's face fell off.
you know what? It's almost one of those things where you almost want. If I was Catholic, I'd be doing this. You'd be giving the sign of the cross to the way all this thing kind of looked all jacked up
I
and
am
all weird.
Catholic,
Yeah, you do that. There you go.
and that situation is so wrong, so wrong.
Hey,
But we're gonna bypass that part.
I'm just saying. If
We're
the
gonna
bill can't
bypass
handle
my
family,
religion.
eh,
Yeah, but that yeah,
oh,
it's
you don't want me
easy.
you don't want me hitting on Catholicism today. Anyways, I'm gonna leave that alone. I ain't touching that today.
We gonna leave that alone.
There's I don't want to touch on religion today. So on to the next.
On to the next. But no, back to the guy. Like that situation, people listen, there's enough people out there for everybody. There is someone out there for everybody. There's people out there that like all kinds of crazy shit. No matter what you're into, you can find someone for you. You do not need a family of dolls.
Some
Okay.
people do.
But if you do, right, at least get some cute dolls. Like your dolls don't have to look like they're gonna kill people. There are some really cute dolls out there. There's some silicone dolls out there that they make look like real women and shit. You do not have to have this like homemade whatever the hell that was with a face. Like I can't, I can't, I can't, I can't. It's not that serious. It's not that bad. The world hasn't gotten that bad yet. The world has not gotten that bad yet.
Says you.
Canada's population is going up. It's not going down. I don't understand what the problem is. The world's population is not going down, it's going up. You can find somebody.
Hey,
It doesn't need to be that bad.
for the record, the guy was from Central America. Just if that makes any difference.
Well, that's why I had to mention the world, right? The world's population is not going down. However, they try to like kill off the population, and we'll save that story for another day. However, they try to do this population control shit, the world's population at the moment is not going down. You can find somebody. You can find somebody. You can pay somebody. And they're coming cheap nowadays. It's not as expensive as it used to be. You know what I mean? You can buy
How
a
you?
couple of drinks
How the heck do you know?
because I observe and document
I bet you
mentally.
do. I bet you do
I
observe.
I observe and document at all times, whether I'm in the grocery store, I'm in the lick bowl, wherever. I observe and document. Okay. And I see it go down in front of me all the time. And people respond to some weird shit. People respond to some weird shit.
You mean like the pickup lines, as I always say, the pickup lines that die with the player?
Give me an example of a pickup line.
So this is what my cousin told me a long time ago. And for the record, he has 14 kids. So clearly it must have worked on somebody. Just putting that out there. Sorry, cuz I love you. He goes, your father must be a thief because he stole the moon. So what did he say? He said, your father must be a thief because he told the stars and he put them in your eyes. And I sat there looking at him going, I was like, what kind of whack ass line is that? He says, yo, I use that on all the girls then. And I was like, okay, your father must be a thief because he stole the stars and he put them in your eyes.
How how old are these kids? I'm just trying to figure out like a timeline here.
His oldest is in there. His oldest is probably 24. His youngest is probably one.
Oh damn. So
Oh,
we're talking about like late 90s and back then.
that's
No,
correct.
like we're into the 2000s. We're into
Late
the
90s.
2000s now.
Yeah, late 90s and going forward.
Damn. And that was still working then?
Well, 14. Well, I don't think you need to use pickup lines anymore. I can't tell the last time I used a pickup line to pick up anybody. Most
I
people just,
never fell for a
all you
pickup
got to,
line.
I find nowadays we've gone from that age of, you know what? The age of romance is done. So back in the 60s, hold on, back in the 60s, you'd have the guys, you'd have the OJs and the man them singing their song. Oh Ooh, girl, you'll be in trouble if you left me now. And these guys are singing in their little quartet and they're spinning around in their suits and shit. And the guy's writing a love letter saying, I love you like the old days. And the girls be like, oh my God. And then there was our era. So I remember
Wait,
back in
hold
our
on,
time.
hold on, hold on. I gotta say something real quick. That line that you said, okay, because you just took that in a whole different direction with just one word that you that you that you substituted in this line of the song. You said, "Oh, girl, you would be in trouble if I left you now." That's some shit, though. That's not what he said. He said he'd be in trouble. What?
Listen, I never
That's
said
some
I was just.
narcissistic shit. But that's some narcissistic shit, though. For
I
real,
know.
that's some narcissistic shit.
Hold on. You're missing the point of my damn point, damn it. That wasn't the point of what I
I
was
had to
trying to
say
say.
that, though. I know that.
Hold
I
on.
know
Yes,
that. But I had
the
to
song
touch
was
on that.
inaccurate. I don't know the words of the song. And yes, I was just trying to harmonize the shit until you rudely interrupted me, you prick. And I can't get to finish the damn story because you over there laughing.
No, no,
So,
no.
anyways, fast forward, you know, music was always a big thing in terms of relationships and stuff. And then you get into the 90s. I remember making my R&B tapes to go deal with the gal them back in the days. Me and my brethren would sit down with
Oh,
we
you
listening
started
to,
that in the 90s?
oh hell yeah.
Oh,
We had
shit.
Silk, we had all these H Town, oh, all these freaking songs, and you play them, and then you go to the girl's house and it's business until you go home. And then the 2000s came around. And people aren't listening to music as much. They're listening to it, but it's not on the same level. Dudes ain't making sex tapes. Now people are sexting, sending sex tapes and sending each other their genitalia. Completely different than what we did back in the days. Hey, I'm not saying you can't do it, and I'm not here to knock anybody's hustle. All I'm saying is the evolution of dating. There is no pickup lines. There is none of that. People just talk and they smash, for lack of better English. There's the age of romance is done. Because even for me being out there in the dating world, you hear a female say, "Oh
Yeah.
shit, you still do that?" And I'm like, "Doesn't everybody?" No. And I'm like, "Wow, did you give him front?" Yep. I'm like, "So you didn't even have to work to get it." So nowadays, the age of romance is done, right? I
Okay.
mean,
And I want to touch on that. Sorry to cut you off.
yeah, it's
I want to
okay.
touch on that because no, that's what makes it hard for a woman like me who is more I'm I can't even say that I'm modern. I'm more traditional than I am modern because I'm not into like a lot of the things that people are into nowadays, right? But I'm not modern in the
If
sense
I
where
wanted to
like
fire you up, I'd say something right now. But just for the sake of keeping this moving, I'm gonna let that go.
okay. So anyways, I want to touch on a couple of things that you said. So you said music, you were talking about music and like how you used to make, tapes and shit for the girls and whatnot. And I was gonna say, like, music is therapy. And I actually only came to realize today, right? I've always used music as therapy. Music has always been a huge part of my life. But I realized that the most important men in my life, we've always bonded through music, right? My uncles, my Uncle Don. I want to give a shout out to my Uncle Don, who's not here with us anymore, right? When I spent time with him, we'd play records and we'd sing and dance and a lot of Lionel Richie and, you know, and my Uncle Courtney, shout out to Uncle Courtney, same thing, right? Music. And of course, my dad, my dad. My parents, my parents have always had music in the house, record players, tons and tons of records. Music has always been a thing. It's always been my happy place. It's always been therapy to me. It's always been soothing to me, right? And I realized that, you know, that you're talking about the 90s. And that's why I asked you, like, when you started getting into like the 2000s, because I know even with you, music, right? I like people who know how to use music to communicate, right? And that's how you got me in the beginning. So now I'm listening to you talk about this shit, how you used to rope in girls, use music to rope in girls and shit. I'm like, yeah. when you go in for the kill, right?
Hey, listen, I wasn't down on DeMarco, as you can see. I'm a decent looking guy, but I'm not one of those guys that girls are going, oh my God, he's such a cute. So I used what God, the Lord gave me. I gave me a very intelligent mind, and I knew how to use music very well. I was a
Damn
DJ,
right he
so
did.
I knew music very well. I knew what worked, and then I knew what to talk. And I'm not going to obviously throw my game out there because I don't want people knowing what I did. But the key thing was I was a gentleman. And that's all anybody
Right.
was.
Yeah, yeah. I
Was a
I will
gentleman.
give you that. I will definitely give you that. I'm not gonna say that you're like I'm not gonna try to make it seem like 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 you set some trap for me. I actually set the trap for myself, right? Because we used to like we were friends and we talked on the phone and stuff. You had the music playing and shit. I'm like, make me a CD. You have some really good music. Make me a CD. You were strategic with your shit, right? Smart move. Well played. Well played. I'll give you that. Well played. But yeah, you if someone is really into music, you can really use that to speak to them because there's a song out there for everything. No matter what somebody is going through, no matter what somebody, and I think that's really how music started. It was a way to express your emotions, express your feelings, right? And it's always been that way until they started tainting the music with a bunch of all the shit that they're
Well, R&B now, and I'm sorry, I know people are going to be upset with me. I don't want to hear somebody say in the middle of their song, I don't want to hear the F bomb in the middle of my R&B song. That's
unless you're
just me.
D'Angelo, unless you're D'Angelo.
I don't care.
D'Angelo is the
No,
classiest man. Yeah, yes.
I don't care.
Yes. No, that first album, Shit Damn Mother, that was a damn good song. If you're D'Angelo, you can get away with it. You can get away with anything after that Untitled video. You can get away with it. Shout out to D'Angelo. Shout
Won't
out to
you
D'Angelo.
have it as it been? I remember that video. They had him like on a thing where they panned around him, and they had it like right up here just by his waist. And every guy was
Just
like,
low
"Yo,
enough, just low enough to spark your imagination. But I heard, did you hear what's going on in that video shoot?
yeah, I heard."
Right. So for anyone who knows, anyone from back in those times, you know what's up. We don't have to speak on it, but
Okay.
use your
Well,
imagination.
what you can just say is use a word that they don't use all the time. Go look up fellatio, and you'll figure it out. You heard what I said?
Woo!
Fellatio.
This
There
one
you
took a
go.
turn. Yeah, so it's been a yeah, it's been a like you said, Zen week, right?
Yeah.
Up until last night I had a conversation. And did you get a chance to watch the Bob Marley movie?
No, I did not.
Okay, I haven't watched it either.
Can I tell you
And
why I haven't watched? Part of the reason why I haven't watched it.
go
So
ahead.
I'll put this out there. I do not believe in biopics that do not believe in the actual people from the place of where their origin are from. I almost
True.
feel it's Hollywood's cop out. It's just like when they used to use indigenous, they'd make indigenous movies with all Caucasian actors, as if there wasn't enough indigenous
Blackface.
people in the. There you go. We can go on and on. So I am I'm glad they made a movie on Bob Marley's life, but I struggle with the fact of going to watch it based on the fact that people are gonna probably say, "Well, I'm crazy" or whatever the circumstances, but he's a Jamaican. Why couldn't you use a Jamaican to play Bob, Brother Bob? There's not enough. There's not enough Jamaicans out there that are acting that couldn't play Bob Marley. So that was my first thing. So if you
Boom.
really want to authenticate this movie, and if you know anything about Bob, Bob is authentic. Is authentic. He's not fake. He did everything his
Boom.
own way. He did his own music, wrote his own songs. He is not fake. So when I see this, I'm not going to say it's a slap in the face, but it's a cop out. It's a Hollywood cop out. So you can't tell me that you got an American actor to get more record sales or to whatever the circumstances. Because guess what? You didn't get an A-lister, you didn't get a B-lister, you didn't get a C-lister. You got somebody at a bargain basement price to play Bob Marley. No disrespect to the youth. He's doing his thing. And if I'm in his position, I would do it all day. With that being said, it's a biopic. Okay? It's a biopic. I will watch it. I'm not going to cast full judgment
Eventually.
on it. Eventually, I will watch it, but I'm just telling you what my um. what's the word, perfect word to use for this? I'm going to tell you what my biases are before I go into watching this movie. Hey, maybe this guy rocks it and does a phenomenal job, but once I heard that this particular individual had
Wasn't
no
even
time,
Jamaican.
I was kind of like, how
Mm-mm.
you gonna do better Bob like that?
After Shatas and Belly, I can't. I can't. I can't go back to Cool Runnings after Shatas and Belly. It's not happening. I can't.
I'm gonna have no time for rubber now because I'm back shot, you love. And then you have Sky,
Anywho,
and then you have Sky Juice going across the screen like this. Mm. Anyways, that was a good movie. Shatas, that was a nice movie back in the
yeah,
day.
but I got into it. Like we got into it last. I'm like that's my first of all. Oh well, and this is a person of Jamaican descent that I'm having this conversation with, right? And they thought the movie was great. They actually watched it. They thought it was amazing. And well, their argument for using someone who's not Jamaican is because it has to appeal to a white audience, let's say. The people who are going to buy the tickets to go to the movie, right? And then they went on to say, the people who are in the academies that hand out these awards. Well, we already know that there's a lot of politics behind these awards,
It's called
right?
backdoor deals, and I
Backdoor
mean
deals.
and,
And
and
they're
I mean
talking, and
backdoor
they're
in every sense of the word.
right.
Sorry.
So I am asking them in this debate, I'm asking them, okay, are you basing the success of the movie on the sales or on the acclamations, right? So they're going back and forth between the two, like ping pong, right? And I'm like, at the end of the day, I can't. I'm not in a rush to watch it. I'm not gonna say I'm never gonna watch it. I'm not in a rush to watch it, right? The minute I found out that the lead actor was not Jamaican, and then on top of that, they're like, oh well, they had Ziggy Marley. Shout out to Ziggy Marley, but they had Ziggy's input on it, and a lot of it mentioned him a lot, da 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 da. But it seemed like it didn't really touch on the whole family, right? And again, I have not watched it, so I can't say. But this is the argument that's being brought to me, right?
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay, so are you going to, when they started to lean towards the acclamation side of things, I'm like, okay, well, how can you really base the success of something on a system that's corrupt, right? If there's a lot of politics involved in how they handle these awards, how can you really base the success of the movie based on how many nominations or awards it receives, right? Then they're gonna hit me with, well, you still follow the Chiefs, you support the Chiefs, and they had games that were what? They had games that were handed to them throughout the season.
Okay. Ooh, let's rewind. So let me ask you this question.
Mm.
I am debating a movie. What does sports tie into this? Because Academy Award is a lot different than sports. Um, I've had my issues with teams over the years. The New England Patriots was one of the teams that everyone had issues with, partly because they were winning all the time. But some of their wins seemed a little bit lopsided because of shoddy calling. We're not talking about shoddy calling about these movies. We're talking about a system of bullshit where people, a group of elites, decide your movie's gonna win, even if you didn't act in the best light or you're acting with shit. But as long as the movie is deemed that it's gonna be a hit, it's gonna be a hit. Do you know why people work for Weinstein? Because he made things, everything was a hit. His word made you a hit. So anything he touched would be a hit, even if you were garbage, even if you couldn't act. Tony Mottola, reason why
Your
J
music,
Lo,
yep.
all these people, reason why they went with him.
J-Lo cannot sing.
J
Let's
Lo is
keep it
probably
real.
one of the
J-Lo
worst.
cannot
So
sing.
I'm saying this.
She should stick to dancing.
And the reason why I'm going to tie all this in because we're talking about that same society that deals with the movies,
Hmm.
okay? Where it's a system of elite people that make their own rules, and whatever is going to be successful doesn't matter what the votes are. We can put a vote out today and they'll go completely against it. The movie that finished last will still get the Academy Award because that's what the elites want.
That's what was, yes, exactly. Exactly. Right? So that, like, that whole argument didn't even have, like, what? I
Yeah,
support
using
the,
sports is not a good enough. No.
first of all, you got to compare apples to apples, right? We're talking about, you want to say that, you know, the Chiefs, the Chiefs had one, they only referenced one game. They didn't say which specific game, but oh, there was at least one game where there was bad calls. Well, there's bad calls in almost every game. Okay. If you actually watch. And I said, okay, did you watch any games this season? No. They watched highlights. Okay, well, you can't, right away, you can't argue with me. Because if you're going to argue against my Chiefs, I watch every single game. Anybody who knows me, I watch every single game. Whether I'm working, I'm watching it on my phone. I watch every single game. You cannot argue highlights with me when I watch the games. Same thing with my Jays. If I'm watching the game, you cannot argue highlights when I watch the entire game. Because at the end of the day, highlights is media. And media is going to portray it how they want to portray it. However they want to feed the lines, that's what's going to happen. Right? I watch games. I would never argue with somebody if I only watched highlights. I would never put myself in an argument about a game or a season or a team if my whole thing is watching, what's that? Was it the Sports Center?
Yeah.
Right? I don't watch highlights. I don't even
But
watch highlights.
but look, it's even gotten you away from the major topic. We were talking about Bob. Okay? Like this is the point. Like it's almost like a deflect. Right now I don't give a shit about
And
football.
that's
Right?
exactly what they were doing in the moment because they
It's a
weren't winning
deflect.
the argument. They
It's a
were not
deflect.
winning the argument, and that's exactly what they did in the moment. Deflect the situation, right?
Cause see,
Went
I'm
off on a
not.
tangent about that.
I see when people start deflecting stuff, and I'm like, if we're gonna deflect, then conversation is done. Let's find something else to
Yep.
talk about. That's it. It is what it is, right?
Right? Because their next argument was, well, black people don't support black da 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 da, and I was like, you can't have that argument with me because then we get into a situation where people make comments, and this person's been guilty. You make comments that are very disparaging to the community, and you don't realize how deep rooted these comments are. When you're a black man and you say something like, she looks good for a black woman, let's unpack that. You're a black man. I just said that. How do you feel about that? She
You
looks
ever
good
you ever you
for
ever
a
watch
black woman
you
or
ever
for a
watch you ever watch Boondocks?
yeah,
Uncle Ruckus. It's
Uncle
almost
Ruckus,
in line of Uncle
that
Ruckus.
sweet white nectar.
It's almost in line with Uncle Ruckus. And I mean this in the most sincerest way. It's not cool. Um, I do believe, hey, everybody has the right to date whoever they want to
Whoever
date.
they want.
You're attracted to whoever you're attracted to, but beauty is beauty. Whether you're black, whether you're white, you're Asian, Indian, whatever your ethnicity is beauty. And one should never be judged higher or lower based on the skin color. That's just me. So
Correct.
that comment is disparaging on so many levels. And I mean, in some circles, you can't even go to some circles with that comment because there's people that'll definitely rile up on you. Some
You're lucky I
females,
love you. You're lucky I
well,
love you. That's what it is. Right? Because imagine it wasn't somebody I love saying that shit.
yeah,
You
it could
know
definitely,
me. I
it
would
could definitely go
rip
around.
them to shreds. Very diplomatically, but they would get ripped to shreds.
Yeah,
Right?
it's not, yeah.
I feel like those kind of comments are rooted in self-hate. And the person might not want to admit that, but it is what it is. This is your own kind that you're speaking of, right? Not anybody else, it's your own kind that you're speaking of. And to say, to add that extension for a Black woman, there's something deeper there. There's definitely something deeper there. That's what I have to say about that. So it went pretty far, just based on me like not feeling, I just feel like any movie about Bob Marley, if somebody's playing Bob Marley, whether it be, a comedy or a biopic, I don't care. I feel like we're in a day and age where we're not doing blackface anymore. So you can get people that come from that country that you're dealing with to play that role, right? We are in North America, especially Canada. There's someone from everywhere in the world here. There's someone from every single country in the world right here, right? So you can't tell me that you can't find somebody authentic to play that role in 2024.
And it goes back to my point. The actor that they use is not an A, he's not a B, he's not a C-list actor, right? He's not on the list, right? Okay.
But yeah, I agree with you completely.
Right? But yeah, at some point I will get around to watching it, and then I'll be able to better judge it for myself. But I'll just tell you, I just wanted to explain my bias before I even went into it. And someone would say, why would you? Everybody has some sort of bias towards something in some way, shape, or form. If you don't agree to that, then you're lying to yourself.
Yep. Don't be fake. And we don't do no fake shit over here.
You're lying to yourself, right?
Yep. And we don't like liars. We don't like liars. But yeah, at the end of that, it is what it is, right? So you know what? We can revisit this conversation once we've both watched it, and maybe we might even have a different perspective, right? Possibly. Maybe the movie is amazing and none of that even matters because it's that good. But judging by the critic,
the Jamaican in me will not make me like that movie.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
I'm just telling you straight up, because it's not Yabman them in the movie. It's gonna be some imposters playing. It's almost as bad as when Denzel Washington played a Jamaican back in the days, saying he was from Woman in Red, and he was supposed to be in Jamaica or something, and his accent was god awful. One of the worst Jamaican accents. I almost rather miss Cleo's accent over the accent that he had in that movie. It was real bad, right?
And this is why I say after Shatas and Belly, there's no need for this.
But do you notice who I said?
Shout out to Louis Rankin. R.I.P. R.I.P. Right? He was great. He was great. He was great. But I mean,
there's not one more you want from me. Take everything.
Shout out to Louis Rankin.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So it was a great show. It was a great show tonight. I know we needed to get some shit off our chests. So I'm glad that we got to do that. But like we said, you're not offended yet. Be patient. We'll get to you. Right? But like we always say, take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones. Make sure you check in. Right? And if you need to talk, reach out. Reach out to somebody. Don't internalize shit. Reach out to somebody. It's important to do that. Right? And if somebody reaches out to you needing help, if somebody reaches out to you in distress, don't turn your back on that. Because everybody needs somebody at some point. No man is an island.
Amen.
Right? Everyone stay safe, stay cool, stay good, stay 2opinion8ed.
Shits and giggles.
Shits and giggles.